All right, guys, it's Copper Cutlass, and we made our list for what we got to do. Drain coolant, check the MSD, new plugs, set back the RPM chip, the limiter chip. I'm going to put it at 6,800. I'm going to set back the shift point to 6,300. Check oil, which I already did. I mean, that's basic enough, but it's dumb shit. Check the diff fluid, got to do that. I got to check the fuel filters and clean them out. I haven't done that in a bit. We've been having issues, and I did get a haircut. So let me roll up the window for the secondary set of notes, because I did have this thing running, and I'll get to why we had this thing running. I got the valve springs in there, obviously, back and again. But one, I need some sanity. I'm going to get brand new spark plugs. I need some XR4s. Going to get a brand new cap and rotor. Touch on that later. New coil, just as a backup. I should get a backup fuel pump, but the question mark is because I want to upgrade to like the Magna Fuel with the built-in fuel regulator and filter. And I am going to run the evac tubes again. They did work for us in the past. A little too good, as we pulled a ton of oil out of the engine. But that's because we didn't have enough baffling in it. So we should be good on this end. But those are things we need. So obviously on my list, it was on there to check the MSD distributor. And I checked the wiring, everything's good. I just wanted to make sure if I didn't have any loose lugs or anything, because obviously this thing ran really well in the fall. Our problems didn't really come up until the winter, or after the winter, I should say. So I took the MSD distributor apart in the car. I didn't take it out, but the pickup, well, not the pickup, but the reluctor on the shaft was covered in surface rust. So I Scotch-Brited that. The terminals on the distributor were caked up with corrosion. I mean, it was pretty bad. I cleaned them up. I put everything back together. I fired it up. The RPM went up at idle just a little over 100. It was that noticeable. So I think maybe part of our issue with it breaking up at the big end, or at the top of like first gear, around 7,000 RPM, whatever, it could have been our distributor. Just the spark couldn't go through at that speed, or where at that speed where the spark wants to hit on the terminal. And I know this is like phasing and whatever, but wherever the spark wants to hit on that terminal, maybe it was just hitting, it was trying to go through that corrosion, and it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty thick. I'll put the pictures up on here. Obviously I got this back together. Now, a recommendation to me was also like run as much valve spring as you can. This camshaft is already broken in and fairly good. So I was recommended a spring, a different type of locator that will work in the cylinder head. And you know what? For the money, I'm going to buy them and try them out. Still, I'm going to try them out. There is power to be had in valve train stability, because if things are moving around, it's not stable and you're not controlling the valve very well. And there's actually a really good video out there on YouTube by, I forgot who did it, but they proved that you could lose as upwards of 20 horsepower just in valve train stability if things aren't working properly. So there's that. So obviously I'm getting new spark plugs, new cap and rotor, all that stuff. We're getting ready for our first points race. We're not going to wind it up, but to see if things got better, we are going to probably end up making like an all-out test pass after we're done racing for the day. We'll change the chip on the MSD, and we will also bump up the shift point. But usually I like to slow down the car for the class, so I don't run it all out. It's very rare. Yeah, it's, I didn't think it would be that bad just from sitting over the winter, but apparently it was, because when I put this distributor in the car, it was not like that. Everything was clean. Everything was nice. Everything was good. So, that's just how much perspiration comes out of these parts just from sitting in my garage over the winter, in the transition months at least. I think I showed you guys that my rocker arms look like they were dipped in a milkshake, just from the condensation alone, because the concrete's still really cold. but the ambient temperature is warm. So the difference between the two and everything, and it all sweats out, and it looks not very pretty when you take the valve covers off. But that's where we're at. I had a weekend away. It's Sunday, so most of the weekend I was gone with my wife. It was our anniversary, so we went out, we did stuff. Came back today and fiddled with this for a little bit, put the valve springs back in, ran the engine, took the distributor apart, all that stuff. So we got a little bit of work to do before our next race, but it's nothing major, just a small list. So I'll put those pictures on the video, and then I will go ahead and I'm going to try to find that video where I had the GoPro in the car, and you can see me going well north of 7,000 RPM, and it wasn't breaking up. That was before we did any cylinder head work, and I found the video. I have it. I'm going to try to put it on here and see where it goes. So share, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass, and we'll let you guys go. But looks like we're going in the right direction with a small little issue we're having, because by the numbers, the car really hasn't completely fallen off. It's still good. I mean, we ran an 1158 with a 158 60 foot, 113. Almost 114, I should say. We lost some mile per hour, but we also re-geared the car significantly to the point where it changed a lot. So that's a given. But either way, I'll let you guys go. As I said already, share, like, subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. See you guys later.